Welcome to the Coaching Life podcast. I'm Pat Martin, remotely here with my friend Chris Stewart, Coach Chris Stewart, and we have a special guest with us today, Coach Billy Roper, all the way from Georgia. Coach, how are you doing today?
Doing well today, gentlemen. Appreciate you guys allowing me to sit down with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for joining us. I'm gonna talk a little bit about you real quick, Coach, and then we can get into the fun stuff of learning from you. But for our listeners out there and our viewers, the ones that sign in and watch us on video, Coach Roper here graduated from Adairsville High School
Yes.
in Adairsville, Georgia. After he graduated, he went on to play college ball at Shorter College in Rome, Georgia. And overall, Coach, you've been coaching baseball for 29 years and football for over 28 years for football. Actually, more than 29 years for baseball now, right?
Yes, sir.
Is it 31?
This is year 30.
Year
This is
30.
year 30.
Okay.
30 years baseball, 28 high school football.
That's amazing. I'm
28
gonna
years did them both.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you about that here in a little bit. But at some point, Coach, well, actually in 2009, you became the assistant baseball coach at Adairsville High School, and then you took over as head coach in 2013.
Yes, sir.
So it's a pleasure to have you, Coach Stewart. I know you've talked in the past about the brotherhood that we have as high school baseball coaches, and I was doing what we do, trying to do some research and learn a little bit and get better myself. And I was reaching out to a couple different individuals, and I came across Coach Roper's ABCA podcast, and I listened to him, and I thought, man, I'm going to reach out to him and ask him a few questions, and I did, and Coach asked if we could have a phone call, or if I was available for a phone call, and I said, well, you know what? If we're going to have a conversation, we might as well have the conversation the way you and I have it every week on the Coaching Life podcast. So it'd be great to have you on.
So let me get this just to clarify. You guys didn't have a phone conversation before this, so this is it.
Just a couple messages via Twitter, talking about some weight room information, and
Yep.
I'm kind of long-winded, so I said, Coach, is there any chance we can talk? And then it led to this.
Good deal.
Yes, and we prep Coach Roper how we do most of our guests, but I kind of forgot because I was so excited about having you on, Coach, that this came about because I asked you about the weight room and what you did at Adairsville and what your kind of philosophy was. I would say there's a uncontested idea out there right now, and in the strength training world, between lifting heavy and lifting fast, and that doesn't really tell the full story. But it's not just one or the other. But I know that when I reached out to you, I wanted to know, what do you guys do in your program as far as I would say in the off season, more than anything. I think that's when the guts of the philosophy come forward. But I just wonder what you guys do as far as your approach in the weight room with your athletes from junior high through high school.
Well, Coach, before we start this, anytime I do, speak in front of anyone, I first off want to give a shout out to my family, my wife and my 3 boys.
That's awesome.
A lot of the stuff I do or I'm allowed to do is because she allows me to be absent at home sometimes. Things I love, so I'd be remiss if I started this off without mentioning my wife and my 3 boys.
Great, Coach. Yeah, thank you for doing that.
Weight room. I mean, we are at a AAA school, which is about anywhere from 1,100 to 1,300 kids around there. We share athletes. We don't have a specific just baseball weight training class. We don't. We're not allowed to put our kids, sport specific weight. So our football coach, John Cudd, and our strength conditioning coordinator, Kurt Scoggins, they do a phenomenal job in our weight room. They have all of our athletes throughout the school. So we're fortunate enough here. You know, I've been back home. This is my alma mater, 15 years. We've had seven or eight coaches that's been together for 12 years.
Oh wow, yes.
So I'm not on the football staff anymore. They still are my brothers, and we still work close together. But we formulated a plan, together that just works for Adairsville. It may not work for somewhere else, but it works for Adairsville. All of our student athletes, it don't matter what sport they play. We have 4 periods. Our girls have a first period class. So our first period class today is just for ladies. Then our second and third are co-ed, and then our fourth are, predominantly our athletes. But we're all doing the same workouts. We're on basically our philosophy is sometimes I mispronounce it, hypertrophy. We know what that is. We want to shock the muscles, and hopefully through shocking the muscles, we're going to get mass muscles, over time. We do that with with our cheerleaders up to our baseball players. Now, for instance, when it's baseball time, we back off of some of the things, but we're gonna bench. We're gonna squat, we're gonna bench, we're gonna power clean every week. And this even our kids even know our schedule. I did the strength and conditioning for the first 6 years I was here. Then I came, when I got the baseball job, I slid into PE chaired, and some other guys took over the weight training. But we come in Mondays, our big lift is going to be squats. Kids know it. Tuesdays, our big lift is going to be bench. Wednesday, we're going to do a lot of auxiliary lifts and stretching and things like that. Thursday's going to be our power clean day, and then Friday's going to be our what we call beach day. Obviously, if we're in football season, we want to let the guys get in there and have a little fun. Work on how they look and things like that. Just kind of getting them ready for the game and stuff. But that's basically how our weekly schedule goes. So kids know when they're out, and it's funny. They'll call our coaches, "Hey, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. Can I come in tonight and get this, or earlier tomorrow and get this?" But our kids know our plan, and it works real well for us.
Yeah, that's awesome. It sounds like they've bought into it too, and
Yes,
develop a culture there where they don't just miss. If they miss, they want to get
they love it. Especially, it's weird. Everybody loves the bench day Tuesdays, but our kids here love their Mondays, which is squats, and their Thursdays, which are power cleans. And you really got to get in a different mindset for power cleans.
Yeah.
You should come in our first period and see our cheerleaders, our ladies on Thursdays doing power cleans. Man, they're getting at it. They do a phenomenal job.
Now, when you're talking about squats and benches, would you say that you're heavyweight, low rep, or you
Well,
mix it up?
with the hypertrophy system is we're gonna stagger. What we try to do is, like I said, we'll start out, at the beginning. Now, granted, our kids work out all summer. Let me backtrack and say, we start working out June the 1st. We work out all summer. So basically, when school starts in August, we're almost in our third month of lifting. So we kind of stagger, and we'll start out, low weight, high reps, but we're gonna I think every 2 weeks, we're gonna lower it down, lower the reps, increase the weight. What we try to do is around the region time, week 6, week 7, we want our kids being the strongest we could be. If we're in football season, we're starting to get down into the 2x2s, and then the warm up. We max like week 8 of football season, because we're wanting our kids to be the strongest and feel the best about themselves toward the end of region, leading into the playoffs. Basketball, same thing. If we're in basketball season, about toward the middle of it, they're starting to get their at their strongest. Baseball also. So with each semester going low reps, high reps, low weight, but we're going to increase that and trying to get them at a maximum. And a lot of it's making them feel good about themselves. It's kind of like, I joke, it's kind of like Jedi mind trick. If you feel good, you look good, you play good. That's.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
No doubt. Hey, Coach, I got a question.
Yes.
Good.
So you said your school district's about 1,100 students, or roughly. How many? You said you share athletes. How many? Just to give you some perspective, Pat's school has about what, 600 in it.
Yeah.
Mine has 180. The whole school.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So when we talk about sharing athletes, we're sharing most of our athletes. Like most of my athletes right now are getting ready to play basketball. They're just coming off a football season. I might have 5 or 6 in the weight room during football season. I might have 8 or 10 in the weight room during basketball season, if I'm lucky. Well, I mean, not really, because I love to have, I love the kids that are competing in those 3 sports. That's the constant challenge for us. How many of those athletes, when you talk about sharing athletes, how many of your baseball athletes do you not have in the fall because it's football season in the weight room? Of course, you said you've got a strength coach who's handling all that too. That's a little
and that's one of the things that we do very well. All of our athletes work out, unless academically they can't get weight training. Then if they can't get weight training, we have an early session, our Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you're a child and you don't have weight training, at least you're going to work out Tuesday morning and Thursday morning and get your 3 lifts in.
Is this during school?
2 days. So it's not like I don't have them in a class. They're either going to get it in their class, or they're going to get it in that we call it magnet weights, because we have a lot of our magnet athletes can't get weight training because of the academic rigor. So we're open Tuesday and Thursday for they're allowed to come in there and get their weights. So we're getting them unless they're not on campus. Okay. We're getting them unless they're not on campus. And
they're getting the same. All your athletes are getting the same program. So I guess what I'm saying is like, I'm a baseball coach, and I have a guy. One of my assistants writes our program. And we know, I mean, it's not a baseball workout, it's a strength workout. I mean, it's really the same thing. But our football team wants to do their own. Our basketball team wants to do their own. We don't have a centralized, and Pat's he's in the same context here. We don't have a centralized strength coach where every athlete is getting the same training and becoming the best athlete they can become. It sounds like that's what you're talking about.
Coach,
you guys have.
You're hitting the nail on the head. I mean, we have a system that is proven to work for us at Adairsville. We have a centralized workout program where all of our athletes are doing the same thing. Now, here's where the kicker gets, because you get baseball guys are different, basketball guys are different. They don't want to be doing all that mass all the time. They don't, you know what I'm saying? They should, but they don't want to. We have our kids, we're in there an hour and 20 minutes, and we have what's called a WOD, where we have auxiliary lifts. And those auxiliary lifts are where they're getting those cross symmetry bands, where we're getting the pitchers can get on the side and do all the little things that they need to do. Basketball can get over there and do their thing, but all those have been worked in to the plan that Coach Scoggins and Coach Cudd that we have. So for those specific guys, they can get those little things in, but at the end of the day, they're still going to do what we're asking them to do as far as our centralized lifts. We're going to shock the muscles, and we're trying to build muscle mass.
I'm just glad that my superintendent listens to our podcast.
Yeah,
because I bet this is. I mean, I'm 100%. Like, we met with a guy that offers a weight room coach app. Offers a sort of a centralized. Hey, we know that you're sharing athletes. We got a program here that's going to help you to build the best athlete as possible, not just the best football player, the best basketball player, the best baseball player, or volleyball, whatever it is. Yes, and sir. I 100% would love to see like our district go in that direction as well. To have somebody, I mean, my son's he's the athletic director there. He's technically my boss in this role, but he's also got his degree in exercise physiology, and so I think we have the perfect setting to have that be a part of what he does. Not to add more work onto you, Brock, but that's
well, we're fortunate that our from superintendent down, they have allowed us to implement this, and they support it. I mean, there's 3 high schools in our county. Each county has a strength and conditioning coordinator, a separate supplement. that does nothing but concentrate on our student athletes in the weight room.
Coach, do you remember a time at Adairsville when students weren't in the gym or they weren't in the weight room for those first 4 periods? Like that program didn't exist?
Well, you're asking an old man, do I remember? I attended Adairsville, and I had weight training because I played football, but the other sports didn't have, the other sports wasn't required to lift.
But did you train during the thing that's really appealing to me to your program and the way that your school does things is you're able to get those athletes into the weight room during the school day, which
right.
Coach Stewart and I, when we're inviting these athletes into the weight room after school, so it's harder to get a kid to commit to coming in on a Monday, every day of the week.
Oh, I get it. They have other
Well, it's
things
impossible, and it's impossible for a 3-sport athlete to do it because they're always in practice during that time.
But if we could incorporate that into our school day, you could do. I've got goosebumps thinking about that. I mean,
let me backtrack. Let me backtrack and let me brag on my school a little bit.
Okay.
This is where it starts. July, we send our head counselor a list of the students from baseball that I want in weight training.
Yep.
There, she implements it and puts it in, and if she can't get some in, she goes and meet our register, our assistant principal, and we work a way to get them in. Out of the 36 kids that I wanted in weight training, 31 of them got it. 31 of them got weight training. 24 of them got it both semesters, and 6 of them only could get it one semester because they were dual enrollment. They were leaving campus and they couldn't get it in. That's how fortunate we are. Now, granted, we are getting those, and I know you guys are smaller than us, but we're getting those 5'5" kids in at 9th grade. And by the time they're sophomore, junior year, we got to have them, they're playing significant quarters for us in football. They're getting significant innings for us on the diamond. So we have to get them in and get them going, and they allow us, because we can't miss a year of working out. We can't miss two years of working out and expect that person as a junior or senior to do things for us in the area we're playing in.
It's universal. Yeah.
No, I think that needs to be sold like that. I feel like that's my job now as the baseball coach at Mix High School, to sell that to my administration. The weight room being the ultimate neutralizer.
One of the other caveats to that, Pat, is we got to sell it to all of our other coaches as well, right?
That's true, but you know what? Yeah, you're right. You do, but I mean, I would give up that control and say, hey,
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you got kids coming in lifting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I mean, just pick it. You're in it like.
If you came to our weight room June 16th, our football guys, our male athletes work out at 9 o'clock from 9 to 11:30. Our girls come in at 10:45 and work out from 10:45 to 12. You would see our football coaches run it, but you would see our head baseball coach there. You would see our head basketball coach there. You would see our ladies volleyball coach there. You would see all of our coaches. They come into the summer to make sure that their kids are there. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Our county has bought in. They bring breakfast. They serve breakfast for our kids, and they serve lunch for them, for the ones that can't get it. I mean, it's a total buy-in from top to bottom. I mean, we're blessed.
How do you think that happens, Coach? As far as
over time. He's no longer here, but Eric Bishop was. He was the baseball coach before me, but then he got the football job and I got the baseball job. This is something 16, 17 years he fought for. He fought for it. Administration allowed him. Bruce Mulkey was our principal back then. They kind of implemented that, and it's still going. It's still going.
Good stuff. Yep.
Yeah. We're fortunate.
Well,
taking notes.
and part, yeah, definitely. I think I've found an added purpose in the today, so that's great.
Well,
But
from even though our football coaches are running it, the head coaches of the other sports need to show up and show their players that it's important. If I'm gonna
sure.
ask you to come, I'm showing up also.
Yeah.
This is important to the success of our program.
Coach,
Well,
they
yeah.
still,
You have your kids that you have to call. Hey, get here, mom and dad. We're going on vacation. You still have those issues, but all in all, I mean, our kids and our parents, they understand. Like baseball, they understand. If you're going to play baseball at Adairsville, you're going to participate in the weight training program, unless you can't because of academic reasons.
I heard you say that on the other podcast, actually.
Yes, sir.
If you're going to play baseball here, you are going to lift. Yeah,
Yes.
100%.
Yeah. And no one's, both our strength conditioning coordinator and our head football coach, they both have coached baseball and played baseball. They understand baseball.
Yeah.
They understand when it's during baseball season, pitchers, arms, throwing and stuff. We're gonna, no one's standing behind them saying you have to lift this much. You're going to do something. You're going to continue to shock your muscles.
Yeah. So you mentioned the summertime schedule. Do they still get an hour and a half during the school day as well in the weight room? How does that fit with their school schedule?
Oh, yes, sir. Weight training is one of their classes. There are 4 classes a day. Weight training is one of their classes. They're in weight training an hour and 20 minutes. We start out, we do dynamic training around 15 minutes. Then we get into our WOD. Then we, WOD, auxiliary lifts and stuff. And then we get into our strengths today. And then we end that at the end with some type of stretching.
Is that a supplemental position, or do you have a full-time teacher, full-time employee that's leading that, or are those the individual coaches taking?
Well, no, we have 3 weight training teachers. One of them's Kurt Scoggins. He's our strength and conditioning coordinator.
Did you say Goggins?
Kurt Scoggins.
Scoggins.
Yes.
I recognized that last name there for a second.
He's an Adairsville alum also. We have our head football coach, John Cudd. He's weight training. And then we have another PE teacher, which is our wrestling coach, Spencer Jones. He has 2 weight training classes. So there are 2 teachers in our weight room every class, and there's about 90 kids in there every class. We have 18 racks.
Yeah.
We have 18 racks, and we're killing it. They do a phenomenal job.
I know. That is awesome. Well, we're already talking about kind of the same thing. I was going to ask you about how baseball is, or how sports are in Georgia, in your area. You said that Adairsville is a AAA school.
Well, we're 40 minutes. We're about 40 miles north of Atlanta. So if you say Atlanta, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? East Cobb baseball. East Cobb baseball. On the very East Cobb. If you're down south, East Cobb baseball. Lake Point. You ever heard of Lake Point? Lake Point is in our county. That's PBR. PBR. They run a lot of tournaments through there. It's big time. So we're right above that. So baseball in this area is very, very competitive. Travel ball, I don't know how travel ball is up north, but we have kids, whether it's good or not, that play baseball all year round. Just because it's available. It's available. I was fortunate with my 2 boys. My oldest played college baseball. Now my middle one, he's playing college football. They played all 3 sports, so I didn't have to deal with it. I am so thankful that they played multiple sports. That way they had time, to get away from the other sport. But I'm not going to fault a player if they want to play all year round. That's their prerogative. My biggest thing is I just want them to take care of their body, especially the pitchers.
Yeah, what do you tell a player that is committed to playing all year round? They don't want to play another sport. They just want to play baseball. As far as managing their body health.
Well, I think I wouldn't be doing them justice if I didn't, give my opinion. And my opinion is you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. Like, for instance, my middle child, he he probably could have played college baseball, but he also could have played college football. He had two choices. Sometimes when you put all your eggs in one basket, what if something happens? Let's say if you're a pitcher, you're putting all your eggs in your basket, and then all of a sudden you have arm issues. Now what do you do? What do you do? It's one of those dang if you do, dang if you don't. But I do give my opinion because we are at a small school, and I do believe in multi-sports teaches you. Even though you may be a baseball player, if you play football, you're going to learn a type of toughness that you're not going to learn during baseball.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've talked about that quite a bit. Not knowing what episode to call up, but I'm sure we've said it more than one. But we did have one episode where we dedicated just specifically to multi-sport athletes, why you should play more than one sport. There's obviously the benefits way outweigh the negatives. So,
well, there's nothing wrong with competing. If you're competing in football and competing in baseball, competing's competing.
Yep.
That's the biggest thing that me as a coach, when I put you on the mound and it's the first round of playoffs, and you're not going to be able to strike at everybody. You're going to have to compete.
That's right.
If you're in an area where you're competing 10, 11 months out of the year, that's going to become a norm. That's going to become what you do, compared to someone that only competes 3 months out of the year. They're going to have to find a way to Jedi mind trick themselves to get them out there to compete. But I really like I try to get guys multi-sports where you're just competing every day, and it just becomes natural.
I've always said I like my chances with a kid who has the baseball in his hand on the mound in a district championship game, and he needs to get a couple outs to close it out. When I know that kid also stood on the free throw line in the wintertime at the end of a game, and he needed to hit 2 to win. I know that his mentality is there as a competitor. 100% with you there.
No doubt.
And you build some of that in the weight room too. Actually,
you think about it. Confidence. Where does your confidence come from? If you're able to compete against yourself on a daily basis, and once you start seeing those gains, that's going to give you confidence, that quiet confidence that you can't get anywhere else. I don't need you to tell me I'm getting stronger if I know I'm getting stronger, if I see it,
Yeah, sure. Well, Coach, we mentioned you talked about you coaching football and baseball for almost 30 years. Can you talk to us a little bit about how your coaching style may have changed over the course of that period, or if it stayed the same?
Well, I've used this analogy, and I know I used it in the other podcasts, that my wife doesn't like it, but I'm married to baseball, but football. Don't
get yourself in trouble now.
Football was my girl. She doesn't like it, but we laugh about it. But I loved football. You don't coach it 28 years without loving it. There's something about those Friday night lights. You get goosebumps that I don't get, on the diamond. But I would say my philosophy has changed a lot now. What's funny is my infield coach is a former player that graduated in 2014. I'm about to show my age. He's already telling me, Coach, you was a lot meaner to us. Coach, I can't believe you're letting them get away with this. And that's only 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Kids are changing. Kids are changing. Times are changing. I think as a coach, it was time for me to evolve. And I still have my do's and don'ts. I was listening to one of your podcasts. I don't remember which one, talking about the team helmets. I'm not going different helmets. We're going to wear the same helmet. The first 5 years of my career, I ordered the same shoes. I made them wear the same shoes. Now I just tell them I want 2 different colors. I'll tell them, if you get our school colors, I'm happy. So I think over time I bend a little bit more on some things. Some things I'm still strong about, but I think I feel like I have to change with my kids because kids are different now, but especially with travel ball. And, if a parent goes out and buys a color batting glove for their kid in June and that batting glove is still okay to be used in season, why am I not going to let them use it? Because
especially when they're spending $120
yes
on a
instead of
batting
going
glove.
to spend some money. I know I was listening to you guys talk about your Evo shields and all this. They go buy them in the summer for travel ball. Why am I going to go make them go buy something else from the season when they already have it? So I would say, over the years, my kids may not believe it, but I think I listen more now than I did 25 years ago. When you come in as a young coach, you got it. We know everything. We want to change the world. We're going to do it my way, and it's going to be the best way. It doesn't take long for you to figure out it's not that. It's not that. I think one thing I fell into as a young coach that I still do today that I don't see a lot of the younger coaches doing is attending clinics, attending things to where you can still grow as a coach. I am 30 years in. I still attend. You got on my Georgia Dugout Club shirt today. I still attend our local Georgia Dugout Club. I am still an active member of the ABCA Baseball Convention. I'll be going to Washington, D.C. on January 1st. I still think it's important for me to grow as a coach and not get stagnant and think that I know everything.
Coach, I'd love to connect with you at Washington, D.C. this year. My wife and I are going out this year also.
Yes, sir. I got you. I'd love to get you.
Yeah, I've
get
been a
your
member
number
for
and everything.
Definitely, let's do that. Absolutely,
yes,
yeah. It's something that I've been trying to tell my buddy over here, Pat, that he used to coach basketball in the wintertime too, so it was tough for him. But now he's available, so it's time to get him if he doesn't go on a cruise or something differently.
Well, when you walk to a convention and there's over 10,000 people that have the passion, love the same thing that you love, man, it's a different feeling. There ain't
chills.
There's no color barriers. There's none of that, man. It's just baseball.
It is.
It's just baseball, and that is what I am. That's what I've always enjoyed, and that's what I enjoy as I get older. Is being a part of something that's bigger than myself. My kids hear that all the time. My whole career has been based on being a part of something that's bigger than myself, and that's what keeps driving me, and that's why I'm still in this game. Mm-hmm. I am 30 years in. I am still wearing many hats. I am our region's region secretary. I am on the ABCA. I'm on the rules committee. Our local football chapter in Georgia. I'm on the board member for GACA football. I am still, I'm still searching to be a part of things that's bigger than myself. And on top of that, still a husband, still a dad. So I'm still going.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that serving attitude and the development attitude. You say you're still trying to grow, still trying to learn. I think that explains why you've been able to coach for as long as you have, and you say you're fortunate to be in the area and the community that you're in. I would say that they are equally fortunate to have someone like you with that mentality in their program. So
for sure.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate that. I was going to ask you though, and Coach Stewart did say I was coaching basketball and baseball, which kind of run into each other a little bit more than football, but not much. I mean, you get done with baseball season. I'm assuming it's late May in most cases in Georgia. Early June. You're getting right into football, and for me it was so exhausting. How did you? How do you manage to take care of that? Is it just the passion? Is it just the passion that drives you?
Well, yes, sir. It's a passion, but my roots a little bit deeper than that. I am in the county where my mom was born. My grandparents, obviously grew up, Depression those days. My parents went through the Jim Crow areas. I'm getting to do things that my parents wasn't able to. You know, so that drives me. You heard my last time. I am driven to do things that my parents wouldn't allow to do.
Sure.
And
Great.
baseball and football has allowed me to enter doors that I feel like I may not have been able to enter if I didn't coach those. I am fortunate enough I coached at 5 schools in my 30 years, but 2 of my schools for 25 years, with being my alma mater for 15. I've never went somewhere because of money. I've always went because I was wanted and I had an opportunity to grow as a coach. So baseball and football has been that driving force to open doors for me that normally wouldn't have been open, you know, in circumstances, in different circumstances.
Good word.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What's the most significant lesson you've learned throughout your career in regards to motivating athletes?
Man, I think the biggest thing that I am big on is accountability. I feel like kids, especially today, they don't care who you are, they don't care what you've done, it's what you can do for them now. And that being that way, I feel like I can answer that the most. I can do the most for you is by teaching you how to be a good citizen, teaching you how to be a good man, holding you accountable. And if you're fortunate enough to go on and play at the next level, that's great. Those traits are going to make you a better person. But if you're not, those traits are going to help you go out in the community, which is my community, and help you be a better person, a better man, a better husband, a better dad, and a better citizen. So I try to be as strict as I can with accountability, and in doing that, you know, sometimes I have to check myself to make sure that I'm being accountable and that I am doing the things that I'm asking my players to be.
Sure. Yeah, we call that coaching the person.
And they're not all, and I'll tell them, every child isn't the same, every situation isn't the same. Mm-hmm. You know, when they come to me and say, well, why didn't you do this? And I said, we're not going to talk about that child. We're not going to talk about another player. We're going to talk about our situation, because every situation is different. You don't know how that player's home life is. You don't know what's going on. You know, so I tell them, I said, it's not, you know, they'll say it's not fair. And I was like, you know, one of my sayings, you want to go to the fair, go down to the county and ride on the rides. I mean, life isn't fair.
You know, that's true. Let me ask you about that, because I know you know, to have the roles that you've had in your community, a community that you've lived in for most of your life. How do you think that's been an advantage, or has it created more challenges for you, as far as consistency goes, or fairness, or, you know, whatever a perception might be of the way that you're handling, you know, a program or an individual or a situation?
Well, fortunately, I was gone 12 years before I got back to my alma. So that gave me a little time to grow up and distance myself between the people that I grew up with. You know, so, you know, so I came back a little bit older, a little bit more mature, and I think that allowed me to get in positions of leadership to where I could do my best job. But now that I'm here, I mean, I'm not going anywhere. I mean, if they got rid of me, I'm not going anywhere. I got a 10-year-old. He's gonna go to the same school and hopefully play the same sports, you know, my other boys have. But being in this community, I mean, it has been probably, to myself, probably one of the biggest accomplishments I've made, that I was able to come back to my community, my parents' community, and be a beacon of hope or a beacon of change for other people. Like I said, you know, I'm in an area in Northwest Georgia, you know, there's not a lot of diversity. You know, diversity is not a crutch for me, but I'm aware of diversity. You know, I mean, so I feel like my platform, I'm able to show people that look like me, that there is options. You can achieve things that you want to if you work hard.
Yeah, it's great. I remember listening to the ABCA podcast that you were the first in your family to be able to
Me and
get
my brother,
college.
yes, he went a year before me, but I graduated before him. But he wound up being one. Like I said, both my parents, the biggest thing with them was you were going to graduate high school because they wasn't able to graduate. So at least their kids were able, to go. And now my kids, it's like you don't have a choice. You're going to give it a shot. If it don't work out, that's you. But we call it, in my family, changing stars. We want to be able to change stars and allow ourselves to be beacon of hopes for people. And and like I said, fortunate enough, I have one at an Ivy League school. That is so surreal. 3 generations from not graduating to graduating, now to having one in the Ivy League. And my mom passed in 2020. She wasn't able to see that, but my dad still been able to see that. That's so surreal.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
On those way those kids are just excelling.
Well, my 10-year-old, he's like, "Am I going to have to go to school?" I'm like, "Son, yes.
Yeah.
Your brothers win. You got to go."
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like your story in terms of, your path to get to where you are is very similar to actually kind of a combination of both Pat and me. He's currently coaching at his alma mater, which is also my alma mater, but
Okay.
I'm coaching at a neighboring school in the same county. And so in essence, I'm back home, but not fully back home. But I went away for about 8 years total after college before moving back closer to home as well. And I understand that the value of, I guess the way you put it was kind of getting away from establishing new friends and new life in a different location before coming back. And what's one of the things is what's different for me is I'm at a different school district that I did not attend. My kids did not attend, and so that's where I'm coaching right now.
Okay.
Pat is coaching in the district, where he grew up, I grew up, his kids grew up, his wife teaches there. His wife, they're all, right? You're, and so I know that you're soaking this in over there, Coach Martin. I know you are.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I always when I invite guests on, it's kind of selfish because there's always things that I want to know to apply to my situation. But it's just the pursuit of resourcefulness and being able to use what you're able to learn from other people. And I think I'm obviously at a disadvantage, or I'm at a disadvantage because I have never went away from this area. I've lived here my entire life. I haven't been involved with the school district my entire life, so I stepped away from there. But still, the community, the people in the community, I've been here, and they know me, and I know them, and I share. You talked about your community with such reverence, and I understand that. I get it, and I also feel pressure because of that love that I have for the people in this area, and
it'll make you get up early and get going. It'll definitely do that. It'll definitely do that. But I feel like you need, you get to a point you need something to push you and drive you, and that has been my driving force. I don't know if we can talk about it. I am, God has played a major role in my life. He has
part of our podcast, Coach. We're both
okay. I didn't know. There's no way for me to not to say it, but He has put me where He wants me, and for Him to want me back at my home, in my community, in my school, I can't ask for. I'm getting goosebumps right now. I can't ask for anything else. to be back where it all started from, to have an opportunity to be in a leadership role where I grew up, to see people that helped me when I was at an age, they're older, I'm older, to see them still come to the game and say how happy and how proud they are of me, and I flip it around and say I am proud of you for helping me when I needed it. And this week, it's kind of ironic that we're doing this. My old football coach, we laid him to rest. So,
sorry.
He was my old football coach. He wound up being the principal of our high school for a while and stuff. But just in that community, just seeing the outpour from people during that situation with him, it kind of lets you, you often wonder sometimes, am I making an impact? And if he ever thought about that, he should rest well, because he should have seen the people that came out and outpoured and came to see him, this weekend. So, that's just the type of community we live in. We love hard around here. We love hard.
Yeah. Well, I hope the fact that a small town coach from southeastern Ohio heard you speaking on a podcast and reached out to you tells you all you need to know about the impact that you're having, not just in your community, but for the baseball world, for the baseball community. So you can probably rest easy too on that, Coach. Appreciate you.
It's still surreal, man. I can't believe that it's happening, because like I said, we all have a story, and even though I'm in year 30, my story isn't over yet. I have more.
You gonna coach forever, Coach?
I don't know if I'll coach forever. I don't think I'll coach my 10-year-old.
Okay.
He'll be in the 5th grade. I don't know that if some opportunities arise to where I can step into administration somewhere down the road, I'd like to, keep growing in that. Because I think sometimes when we, as human beings, when we stop growing, we get stagnant. We got to have something that's giving us, obviously my family gives me, hope to do more, but I still feel like there's more for me to do in my community. So whether that's from the coaching side, administratively, community, however, just being an impact in my community, that's what drives me.
Yeah, wow, yeah. I was about to pull the trigger on what advice would you give younger coaches?
And I know I said it earlier, but I would still say continue to grow.
Mm-hmm.
I think I see it more with our younger coaches coming in. There's, you try to get them to go to places, they have stuff going on, which is okay, but, we don't know it all. Continue to grow, continue to put yourself out there, make the uncomfortable comfortable. I think so many times we as humans, we want to stay under that umbrella of being comfortable, but we grow when we're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
We need
like
more
your muscles.
situations. Yeah, we need more situations where we're uncomfortable to make sure that we grow and not get stagnant. So I'd start with that is, and I'm guilty of it. I thought I knew it all. I thought the way that I handled bunt coverages and tandem cuts was the only way it was supposed to be. Then all of a sudden I started listening to other people. So continue to grow and don't get stagnant in your field.
Yeah, and I think you made a great point opening the podcast. Just the simple fact that you said, "Hey, what we do in the weight room at Adairsville works for Adairsville." Sometimes you're gonna have a group of kids that something's gonna work, this way is gonna work better for, and 3 years later, a different way is gonna work better for. And that's I think that's the challenge, but also the greatness of coaching. You have to adapt, you have to be flexible, and sometimes you gotta get back to what worked
And
before.
one of the biggest things that I'm real big on is building relationships. I feel like I said, we probably have 20 coaches in the school that's been here since I've been here 15 years. You don't have that, people, we don't have a big turnover. People come to Adairsville and they wind up living here forever, retiring here. That's the kind of community we're in. But, I'm real big on building relationships, obviously with baseball, my parents, my kids, the community that's helping us with fundraisers, our administration, our counselors, our custodians. I mean, anybody in the school, I'm big on, counting my steps. I got my Apple Watch. I walk when I can. I mean, everybody I see, I take it upon myself to have a good pulse of the school that I'm in. I want to, like I said, I try to be a beacon of hope and, and try to get myself to everybody to where I can build, not just relationships, but lasting relationships. When we retire, I want to be able to go fishing with somebody. I want to be able to go play golf with someone. And I think that's big on building those relationships where people want to be around you.
Yeah.
Yeah, great word.
That
Completely
is.
agree.
Guys, we're in 3 different parts of the country right now. What's the weather like where you're all at?
It's been raining. We've had rain for the last 2 days, but that's kind of crazy because we went about 60 days without rain.
Yes.
But it's about, I think today it's like 60 degrees and the sun popped out a little bit down here in Atlanta. In Georgia.
Even in Southeast Ohio, actually this week, it was Monday night when I went down for our lift. I went out finally and turned off our irrigation system at our baseball field for the winter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, they'll turn
we've been watering.
off. Yeah, we turn ours off the week of Thanksgiving because it'll start freezing, so they'll turn it off.
Ours is normally off by Halloween, but it's been so dry this year that yeah.
And ours did get turned off. I thought the moisture in the ground would take care of it for the most part, but it does. It's not as healthy as what I'd want. It still looks pretty good though.
It's been dry down here.
Yes, based on the amount of the rain that we got, through the summer, and pretty happy with it. But yeah, I think 60 and a little bit sunny here too. Yeah. I was planning on going.
Is it really?
Rain yet. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Did you expect it to be cold?
I don't know. It's 40 and rain here, and I got to stand outside in it here tonight.
A good football game, though. If you win,
yeah, it will be. You won't feel any of that. That's right. That's right.
I think I'm going to go do some hula hoeing and drag the field after we jump off here. So.
Well, I got something else that's going to make you feel a certain kind of way. I don't get to do that. Our county pays for people. I don't have to cut grass. I don't have to lie in fields. I get out there sometimes and just mess around just to do something. But
I feel bad for you.
Yeah, they
feel bad for you.
They take care of it for us.
I do. I do enjoy it. I hate mowing my grass. I don't hate it. I don't hate mowing my grass at my house, but I guess I hate having to mow it. If I have the time to do it, I really enjoy mowing my grass. But I've never really been a person that has worried about the pH level in the soil and how much fertilizer and seed you got to put on and when to turn the irrigation system on. It's like that's kind of sacrilegious to me. I'm okay with the grass not growing for a long period of time. But
I find things to do. I stay busy.
I guarantee you do. Yeah.
Right.
You don't have to convince me of that, Coach. But it is. It is. I don't mind it. But I'll tell you this. This will be I'm going on my 4th year now, and my first year, the conversation of turf came up. What would you think about putting turf on the baseball field? And I said, no way. No, I'm not playing on a turf field. I don't like it. I'm starting to see the advantages of a turf field, but
it never fails down here where we're at. We'll have a drought now. But beginning of baseball season, it'll start raining.
Yeah.
So that time of the year, I would very much be. I would take it then.
Opening day, snow and sleet and hail here. Opening day, a mix of snow, sleet, freezing rain has been 3 out of the last 5 years. I think is what we've had on opening day. Yeah.
Do y'all have a lot of indoor? Y'all have an indoor facility practicing and stuff, or you just bear the elements?
we use our gym, our basketball gyms. I
That's
have
what we
a
do. That's what we do. I don't have nothing. I have an outdoor hitting tunnel, but it's outdoors. We don't have
uh,
an indoor or anything. Now, some of the surrounding schools do, but we're not fortunate enough to have that.
we
We have
purchased
two
a
tunnels.
it's called a uh, phantom tension net. It comes up and goes down. It doesn't. It's not. There's no electronics or anything. There's no motorized lifting or anything.
We
But
don't
it
even
takes
have that.
about 10 minutes to put up, 10 minutes to take down. It's pretty neat. But yeah, we go inside. So, and I know coach had a an engineer on his staff
Wow.
for a few years. So his assistant coach built him a
It's
hitting cage.
homemade. We bought the
That's
net, but
cheating.
it's
That's
homemade.
cheating.
But I tell you what, it's structurally sound. I'll tell you that right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Good stuff. I knew that we wouldn't have trouble. I,
Yeah.
I
Hey,
knew
thanks
we
for
would be.
setting up. Thanks for including us, me and our audience, our listening audience, in your conversation that you were planning on having with Coach Roper there.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate it. Yeah, very much so.
Well, it just because when Coach Roper said, "Hey, let's have a conversation," it's just the first thing that came to my mind. Well, yeah, that's what we do. That's what the
Yep.
Coaching Life podcast is about. We just
Yep.
having conversations. But Coach, every guest that we have on, regardless of their background or what their role is, we always ask them one question. We ask everybody the same question when we bring guests on. That's it. What is one of your favorite memories? People stumble over the favorite, but if you could just tell us one of your favorite memories from your days growing up, playing youth sports, high school sports, or even coaching, whatever it is, something that comes to your mind. Um,
Well, my brother would love this. I was a freshman. He was a sophomore. We both made we both made varsity. My brother actually got a high school hit before me. He batted two batters before me and got on. But my first high school hit was a grand slam. He was on base.
is that
No
right?
way.
As,
Yes.
as
Yes.
a,
And he was on base. He got to see it, so he's always like, "Be quiet." So he's
as a freshman,
yeah, as a freshman. So
nice.
grand slam, and so that was one of my fondest memories as a player. As a coach, winning my 200th game because my mother was still alive.
Hmm.
And she wasn't able to make the game, but we got a cake and she was able. I saved her some, and she came down and ate it on the weekend. So that was probably as one of my coaches. And getting my first win at my alma mater was a big one, because I never thought I would be the head baseball coach at my high school. Never thought I'd be at my high school. I left a place wanting to get closer to home, and I wound up working for a year in Cobb County, which is about 45 minutes away. And lo and behold, the next year, the good Lord opened up this position, and I wound up becoming an assistant at my high school. 6 years later, I'm the head baseball coach there. Never saw it coming. Never saw it coming. I came back for football.
Yeah.
And that's just funny how God put me back where He wanted me to be, and now I've been the head baseball coach since 13.
Yeah, it sounds like you're right where you need to be, right where you should be. So.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But those are probably a lot of fun memories. But those would probably be the top. And coaching my boys are, that was surreal. Getting a chance to coach them where I played, that was important to me.
Yeah.
That was important
Yeah, we
to
both feel that.
Yeah, yeah. My oldest is in a senior year now.
me. Okay.
I've had the opportunity to coach him through
Enjoy
high
it.
school. Oh,
Enjoy it.
I do. I do.
Well, I learned with my oldest one what to do for my next one.
Yes,
So
yes.
my oldest one, I'm surprised he still talks to me sometimes. And my wife would be like, "You're at supper table, no baseball." But I learned things through my oldest one that probably made it easier for my second one, because they missed playing together by 1 year. So I had 4 years of learning with my oldest one. So when my second one came through, you
That
know,
I'm
I,
in that exact same boat. So my oldest is a senior, and my youngest is an eighth grader right now.
yes,
So
Yes.
one will be going out, one will be coming in, and
So
yeah, I was really rough. And our consistent viewers,
yeah,
the ones that know the Coachy Life podcast, know me and Coach. They know that I've evolved as a person, as a coach, and I was pretty rough on my oldest, but I've told him before, and I would tell him again, but he taught me how to
yes,
coach.
yes. But they, I had them. I had at least a child in the program for 8 years, and it was awesome.
Yeah, that is great. Yep, that is great. I hope to be able to mimic that from you.
Yes, sir.
So,
For sure.
Yes, sir.
well, Coach, again, thank you for joining us, and we'll stay in touch, and hopefully you and Coach Stewart can touch base at the convention there in January, and maybe next year we can all get together. So
Yes, sir, Coach. Just email me. Pat has my information. Send me your number, and like I said, well, I'd love to meet you when we get there.
Definitely, I'll do that. You can bet. You can bet on it. So,
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
appreciate
thank
you,
you.
Coach.
Appreciate you a lot, man.
Bye bye.